Listen up, losers. This is the Fake Podcast hosted by HIVE Analytics. Today, welcome to episode 6, otherwise known as episode TJ Joyce. Welcome, TJ. This is our first episode with a guest, by the way, so I'm going to throw it over to Kat so we can kick this episode off.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you here, TJ. And we're just going to kind of start off with your self-introduction. Tell us a little bit about you. You're one of our GMs here at Schomp, so tell us more.
Yeah, my name's TJ Joyce, and now I'm really nervous because I've never had a podcast named after me, so that it makes this awkward, but since it's fake, I guess I probably shouldn't care. Name's TJ Joyce, general manager of our Schomp Subaru and Schomp Hyundai store. Been with the Schomp organization now for 14 plus years.
Oh, wow.
So entire life in the automotive industry has been with Schomp, so pretty exciting stuff, and happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And that kind of like leads into our segment of the topic of the day, which is you are the number one Subaru store, not only in the nation, but in the world and objectively, maybe the universe.
Objectively in the universe. As far as we know, there are no other Subaru points in any of the exoplanets, certainly not in this galaxy, so we think it's the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're awaiting final confirmation on that, but we also believe that to be true. So yes, thank you. Pretty cool honor. We've had the store for about 6 years now. Mm-hmm. Anytime you take over, a store, it's all about kind of rebuilding the culture to match what you want to do and figuring out the data to do it with, using the right people in the right way. And we've built a phenomenal team over the last several years, and this is definitely a crown we've been chasing down, and we couldn't be more proud that we finally have it. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big congratulations.
Yeah,
and I love crowns, but
I think what's really cool about it is it's a single point of contact store too, and that transition went like really fast. I mean, it was definitely kind of it was our first big acquisition at Schomp, and then we kind of learned a lot very quickly, and then like all of a sudden we're number one, and the market resonated with how we do business, and we got some leadership in there that knows our process and had it go off smooth. So congrats, man. We're really proud of you, and friend of marketing is what we call you. So
yes,
excited to talk about how that comes about and all the chaos that you have to manage to get there. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think that you can't have the number one Subaru store in the universe without like a really cool like little show and tell about it. So George, if you would do me the honors to present.
That'd be my personal pleasure.
Yeah. I think that would be great.
We pulled our resources together and we're able to locate this beautiful trophy for you for your efforts of number one Subaru dealership in the universe.
Can I touch it?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the paint might still be wet.
We encourage tactile.
Don't look too closely at the model.
Can you go through the construction of that?
Yeah.
I believe that's a can.
This is a soup can. Actually, I think it had chickpeas in it before it became part of your trophy.
Okay.
We have a beautiful bowl from the Target collection. Yeah.
Okay, right.
And then another small trophy from the Target collection. And again, don't look too closely at the Hot Wheels.
With the Tesla.
I was going to say the Tesla, which is not appropriate at all. But the award is very much appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is it's good to be appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. So we hope that will sit proudly on your mantle or desk or somewhere, and everyone can criticize me for putting a
I'm not going to tell them it was you, but I'm going to put that right there in the middle.
Yeah, but do be careful with it because the paint is very likely to scratch off.
It's all right. I'm just going a little Goldfinger right now, but we're fine.
Goldfinger's fine. I enjoyed painting it.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for all your hard work and for being a great partner to us.
Friend of marketing.
Friend of marketing.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
And you certainly can't get to this point without, a lot of experience. So I want to ask why the automotive industry, because this doesn't just happen and it's a long and arduous thing. It's not always easy. So why automotive?
Not my fault.
Okay.
Kind of got in on a dare from my wife. Had bounced around a couple of different careers. Never really found anything that really hit home, but had the pleasure and financial stupidity to buy new cars every couple of years, and something I always was passionate about was having a new and different ride. And fortunately had an opportunity at one point to buy a vehicle from Schomp BMW. And I would say it was about 18 months later, I was kind of not happy in the role I was at in my current industry. And my wife was like, why don't you go sell cars? Like you buy them all the time, you know about them. Why don't you go do that? And I said, no, they don't hire people that don't have experience doing this. And she was prepared for that, as she often is, for any rebuttal I have for anything. And had the ad pulled up that said Schomp prefers people without automotive experience, and interviewed, got the role, and the rest, as they say, is history. And 14 years and 15 different roles in the organization. I'm here.
Now here you are, number one in the universe.
In the universe, yeah. The Galaxy is either one you prefer. I think Galaxy sounds pretty cool, but the universe is also
Galaxy.
okay.
Yeah. A little bit bigger there.
Yeah.
I mean, we can beep this part out, but what do you drive now, since you buy a lot of cars?
Earmuffs to either of the brands that I represent, but I do still drive a BMW. My heart kind of lies with that brand, so.
Old habits
With
die
you.
hard, don't
Yeah.
they?
That's a fact.
With you.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I miss my BMW, so I empathize with that. All right, so moving on to kind of some of the more serious points. You're obviously here with the Fake Podcast by HIVE Analytics. We're in a marketing role, and we've come to kind of take your feedback really heavily in what we do. So we're always curious to ask our users, and as you're our first guest, you kind of get to have like the first insight here and first punch at the punching bag. What is your favorite dashboard?
Before we get there, I like the word first. This is really resonating with me today. I get to be first in the Galaxy and first podcast. This is really nice. Thank you. I feel like that was planned on your guys' part.
But not the first time we've asked feedback.
No.
This is like TJ is like his fingerprints are all over our products. So a lot of cool things that he brought to the table.
Yeah, well, I'm Italian, so I'm a little greasy. So
Yeah.
my fingerprints get on a lot of things,
I
unfortunately.
wasn't going to bring that up, but thank you.
And now on that, and there we go. Anyway, I digress. What was the question again?
Your favorite dashboard.
Yeah.
Dashboard.
I was
Yes.
really distracted by that
Oh, that's
comment.
right. We're talking about Hive. Favorite dashboard. Marketplace by far is my favorite. We could talk all day about Moneyball as well. I think those are two things that I'm really, really passionate about. I know you guys are really passionate about. But Marketplace, I think it's really the first time I've ever seen anyone be able to put together data that doesn't just come from the CRM, right? Where you just have all this outside noise, right? That if it's not put together, you don't know what to do with it, right? You almost get paralyzed by indecision because you've got CRM data and you've got third party data, and then you're listening to what your salespeople are telling you, and it's just none of it really ever seems to line up 100% until you put it into a place where you can say, okay, I've got actionable data. I can look at my CRM and I can get some data in there, but I can't really compare that to other sources of data without trying to export it, pull it all out. Mm-hmm. And Marketplace, for the first time has given me an opportunity to really look at a vehicle or a subset of vehicles and be able to say, okay, hey, on Car Gurus versus Auto Trader versus Cars.com, versus Carfax, like, where are we sitting and what changes can we make that look like they make sense across the board and really aggregate all that data into a quick snapshot. I mean, it saves hours and hours and hours of person power going through trying to pull all this stuff together. And if you're living in spreadsheets, I mean, you're in the dark ages. And this kind of eliminates the spreadsheets, puts the data a few clicks away, and there you are. And then from Marketplace, you start making the decisions after that on, with Moneyball on who am I giving these opportunities to? Like, how are we handling them at the store level? Who performs in what areas? Who needs training? That Moneyball, that visualization tells me so much about, how do I properly apply my resources, and how do I help people that are struggling? How do I take care of people that are doing well? Mm-hmm. How do we keep doing well what we're doing well, and how do we fix what seems to be off the rails? So it's a really long answer, but
no,
that's
thanks.
a
That was
great
great.
answer. And I mean, you're the end user, and so it's really helpful for us. And I want to kind of throw this over to James real quick, based upon like where we're at now and the feedback we've gotten. What was your original intent with everything Hive and to how it is now?
Yeah,
to like where we've
I
moved
think
to.
TJ and I have like a really authentic story going back. He's one of the first people that even saw us working on this, and like I said, his fingerprints are all over it. The thing that I love about TJ brought to the table is like the staffing kind of level and like marketing, being able to bring that each month and go, hey, here's how we see the world, and can confirm that and match that with trends to see this is what we expect in the next month. And it's just really challenged us in terms of I need to get this information in one spot. That's kind of like a consistent tone of that TJ's brought to the table. But I think what resonates or what's really cool about what TJ said is this centralization, right? Like TJ is one of the guys that will get his hands dirty and go in and get this information. But I'm glad that we're providing value. He can just be one click away and get what he needs to get. And then I think we can all attest when we're working with TJ. He trusts the science. So when we say, hey, this is what we're seeing in Hive, he's intimate enough with it to know how it's built to go, yeah, I believe in that, and make moves pretty fast.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely changes your agility level. I think it's an important thing to note is when it takes hours and days to go back and look at data that is weeks old and try to find a trend, you're slow. You're slow to make adjustments. And by the time you make a decision off all the time it took you to compile that data and double check it and get everybody's feedback, you're already 10 days behind the market. And so having all this stuff at a glance where, you can very quickly sort through that data, parse through that data, tie that data in and know that data is coming from your CRM, right? Like there is data coming from your CRM. That's your data just combined with other people's data. And it's the first time you've ever been able to pull those things together and make a very quick decision on what's going on.
Yeah, and we've all been victims of this, all four of us. You show one piece of information and then 5 more questions come from it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that, when we talk about methodology, these are the things that, so we don't kind of get astray and like have to reinvent the wheel every time we look at data. And then the other thing too is there's, we call it going 7 layers deep, like having, getting all these answers in one spot and have it consistent. So, I hope you can attest to that. It's like you bring something, a giant spreadsheet, and sometimes you're actually just causing yourself more work.
Yeah.
Because it'll ask, a ton of people ask more questions about it. What about this? How does that correlate with this other thing? And that's what we're trying to accomplish is just have everything in one spot. Self-serve. You can click all over the place and find anecdotes all over the place, but having that methodology of like where to turn to, these are the things you look for in each dash is what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's huge.
Well, one of the things that I like that TJ's brought to the table with the collaboration that you've done with Hive is the stores that you've led since we embarked on this project. Not only do you live and breathe Hive and you're looking at the data, but then you encourage your staff to utilize it as well. So the stores that you run, we have a very high level of participation in it, and those are the stores are some of our top performing stores. And we see great lead distribution. We see the right staffing levels. The way that you're utilizing it is the way it's meant to be used, and we see the results. So it's a great testament to what we've done and the work that you've put into it with us. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Ditto. We wouldn't even have the opportunities we've got if we didn't have the opportunities to use the program, use the profile, have the input. And we've been using it for a little while, but I've seen the feedback from, and heard the feedback from, other dealers and organizations that are jumping on this for the first time, and the literal just jaw drop that you see when literally with 3 clicks they can get what used to take them hours and all these people and all this time has really been refreshing. It's been cool to see. It's the first time I think something's upended the big data industry in a long time.
Well, thank you. That's really important.
High praise.
Yeah, that's high praise for sure. And I just kind of want to reorient to make sure, if you're an audience member tuning in for the first or second time, we have our 3 core dashboards, which are analytics, trends, and Moneyball. And TJ, you briefly touched on Moneyball, but Marketplace is where we go to look at what we would call our third party. So people like Carfax, Cars.com, Car Gurus, Auto Trader, things like that. And you've been in the mix with so many different OEMs at this point and kind of an operations level. So we always kind of like to, we have our select few that we like and ones that are easy to use, but who's your favorite marketplace right now? And it could be brand specific too. Like who's serving who best?
It's kind of a loaded question, right? Because we use so many and I don't want to upset anybody, but I will tell you that, again, getting back to that kind of agility and that pivoting and paying attention to not only the market, but knowing who your customer is. And I think that's over the last several years has been a toss-up to a lot of vendors, right? Yeah. Is my customer the person who's buying the car at the end of the day, or is my customer this dealer who's selling the car and who's actually, stroking the check to pay for the software or pay for the service? And in that, I want to say that most recently, I would say cars.com has been really responsive. They have really taken on more of a stance, I think, of the dealer being the customer, while understanding that having the right dealer partners and the right experiences drive the results down to the customer level, right? To that consumer, that guest coming in the door, because you have to be concerned if you're cars.com that people want to use your platform, right? And the people who want to use that platform are the consumers. So it's got to be easy for them, but it's got to convert. And so it's got to be easy and it's got to be good for us. And this kind of methodology I think they're taking on right now, where they're kind of sending more of that traffic back to our websites, places we have significantly more control. And when you feel good about who you are and what story you tell and where you stand in your marketplace, you kind of take more control over those opportunities. You get to tell your story. You get to kind of engage with those guests on a different level than just some form that was thrown in from their third-party site. And in doing so, I think we're starting to see an uptick in our closing ratios. Our engagement levels are certainly significantly better than they've ever been. And I think that they're onto something here with kind of understanding that they can't stand alone in a silo. They can't say that they have one customer when they have multiple customers, the guest and the dealer, and that good dealership partners and partnering with people that they can drive traffic to. I think it changes the element in the design, and I'm really, really kind of excited to see how they continue to use that moving forward.
Yeah, we all collectively work so hard to have this good brand presence about Schomp. And so it's really nice when these third parties actually refer traffic to us, so we can decommoditize ourselves in a way, not make it just about the car, but where to buy it from.
Yeah.
And people like Schomp and others that really put a lot of heart and soul into making their brand trustworthy and have true differentiation points. I wish a lot more would come from that, more website transfers, more even I always kind of give some of our partners a hard time. Why don't you just do a cost per click model? I'd love they get that traffic on the site. We all know it converts twice the side when it comes here.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of us and probably real estate are probably one of the only two kind of places where there's incentive to keep that traffic on the platform instead of deliver clicks.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think it's really cool that cars.com, at least doesn't deprioritize it as much as others.
Yeah. And I would say if you're listening to this and you're kind of getting to know Hive here for the first time, I think that the power that James was talking about kind of decommoditizing yourself, I think that's a lot of what Hive brings to the table, is when you're able to make better, more agile, quicker decisions, when you're able to put the right people on the right opportunities and leverage your strengths, which oftentimes you don't know where your strengths or weaknesses are outside of just a simple closing ratio, which we all know can be manipulated, can be deceiving. I think what Hive has helped us do is take those strengths and kind of multiply them in the marketplace. And that's that agility, that speed to market, that ability to place people on the right opportunities. I think that's one of the values you guys bring that probably doesn't resonate on the surface until you start to realize.
Yeah, you got to kind of use it to see it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it jumps out at you once you have a chance to kind of see how we see the world and how we prioritize the data that's in front of you. It's all about prioritizing which opportunities are the best,
right?
And trying to make that as clear as possible through our visualizations. Just here's where you should focus.
And there's accountability on both sides of that, right? I mean, at the dealer level, we get to have some great conversations about what's going well and figure out ways to do more of that, right? I think too often in any industry, but especially in this industry, we're always focused on what's going wrong, and we want to try to fix what's going wrong. And that's great. And you should do that from a coaching standpoint. But how about if we just did hey, we're doing that right. Let's do more of that. And let's focus on the things we're doing right and try to replicate that.
I love those use cases.
Yeah.
Where it's you guys crush at this. Let's find some way on the website to actually get more of these opportunities.
Yeah.
Marginalize the ones that we're not doing so well with, because you guys are awesome at everything else. Obviously there's something we could do in marketing to help.
Yeah.
I love those when we have those opportunities to go, hey, why don't we just kind of reprioritize this on the site, see if we can get some more of this. And then when it comes true in Hive, we can actually document success. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's that two-way street of accountability though, right? I mean, having a partner in Hive that isn't, they're not out with an agenda, they're out to help. And so the data and the feedback, it goes both ways, and we find those patterns. But then even back to your vendors, right? You're going to start finding out real quick who's performing for you and who's not, and what level of accountability you have, right? Real tough to go to a vendor and demand something when you look at your processes and you're giving all of your leads to someone who hasn't sold a car since NAM. I mean, it's not what we're looking for.
First NAM reference on the fake podcast.
First,
Great
another
job.
first.
Another
Sure.
first.
Gosh. So.
Yeah, we might have to actually document that in the description.
Guys,
Here's a first
can you
for
etch it on the
everything.
trophy like the Stanley Cup?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
A fingernail or like something more official?
I'm, paperclip, whatever it takes.
All right. We can make that happen.
right.
Well, I mean, everything you've given us has just been, thank you, first of all. Like, truly appreciate it. But you give a lot of insights and you always give us a lot of feedback. And you're in a position where you've seen the ebbs and the flows of this industry. And so as we're closing this out, I think we're going to probably start doing this with all of our guests, but especially
our one guests.
all of our one guest, the first, but easy peasy. We kind of want to see what your outlook is for 2024 for the industry as a whole, or maybe if you have even brand specific insights, that would be really interesting for us too.
Yeah, I think it's no secret things have changed, right? Back half of 2023, I think that rubber band effect took place, right? Everything was riding high for a long time, and if you want to call it normalize, I think things have normalized. However, we're in a interesting position when it comes to the state of the economy. There's just a lot of unknowns out there, right? And I still find plenty of ways and plenty of reasons to be optimistic about 2024. I think that through the back half of last year, I think we saw a lot of challenges that have kind of leveled off a little bit. We kind of know a little more what to expect these days. We know what's going on in the used car market. We know what's going on in inventory on the new car side. We don't expect rates to go up anymore. They're kind of stable and hopefully will be going down in the second half of the year. So if we can stay as successful as I think we will be as an industry through what is probably going to be a little bit of a tough, quarter or so, just like it always is, in the winter. I think as we get on the other side here of February and March and things stay hopefully somewhat stable in the economy and we start to see some rate cuts, I think we're in for a better year than most people think we're going to have. We're going to have inventory. There is going to be pent-up demand from folks who have held off due to whatever situation with inflation in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see some things bust loose here. And it's going to be another fun year. It'll be a lot of challenges, a lot of changes, a lot of things that are unique. But again, that's why having the data is important. So as those things change quickly, we can change with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, James, do you have any other closing thoughts? Anything?
Yeah, I love the optimism.
Yeah, I like optimism.
Yeah, I think there's some exciting things to think about in 2024. I think the people that bought their lease out, they probably are itching for a car, right? So from a data perspective, it'll be interesting to see what dealers do with that and see if they isolate that kind of audience and how they want to talk to them. I think tech, not just HIVE, there's some really cool stuff out there that I think is really going to advance automotive quite a bit. And I think it's cool that we're kind of part of that fabric, or trying to be. And then, a lot better insights. And I think the people that keep things tight in terms of their processes and how they're paying attention to the industry and they're able to adapt really quickly are the ones that are going to win. I think it's going to be a season where it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to see some clear winners, and those that are optimistic, innovative, and aggressive are going to enjoy this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I hope, and we will be in part of that. At Schomp and I will definitely be part of that category. So
That's a fact.
yeah.
Thanks. All right. Before we close this out, I have a few announcements just to remind everyone. First and foremost, don't forget to nominate for 40 Slightly Over 40. Those votes are rolling in, and it's really kind of cool to see that there's multiple nominations for
I
a
think
single
George
person.
has not been nominated, if I'm not mistaken, but the
I
two
have.
of us, have you been in?
I know I haven't. Both
Okay.
of you have.
I just
Yeah.
want to mention that you
No,
have
thank
not
you.
been
Both of
nominated.
who?
Sincerely,
Both of you have
thank
been
you for
nominated.
mentioning
I've
it.
been
You're welcome.
nominated?
You've been nominated.
Oh, was that the first nomination?
You were the first nomination.
Oh, wow.
First nomination.
Man.
I can't tell you who did it.
Though. It's gotta
but
be
you were
secret.
the
We gotta.
first. No, but that's a fair point. I have not been nominated, and ironically, it was probably kind of my idea. I was hoping. Well, we won't even get into that because obviously I'm not worthy of slightly over 40
Oh my
nominations.
gosh,
So
George.
please do not
Please.
nominate me.
Watch, there's going to be like 20 of them now, and I
I'm
can't
just kidding.
wait to
I'm
post
just kidding.
the
I can't win
comments on
anyway
it.
because we all know if they're the real winners.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have that open for a little bit longer. So please get in your nominations. We're planning on doing kind of a March Madness with it. We're going to bracket style this. And our top 4 winners are going to get a prize pack of epic proportions.
Yeah, no, that's going to be fun. The
It's
March
gonna be really
Madness
fun.
brackets is going to be cool. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
Yep.
Get your nominations in before the end of this month.
Yeah, it was supposed to be cut off today, but like I'm not kidding. I've been sitting here watching notifications come in. I've had 10 just since we started this podcast. So please, please, please keep nominating. Love to see them. And then next announcement, we're going to be working on kind of a little internal project within HIVE for the Data Society, or as we like to call it, the Illuminati. So that is by invite only. So check your inboxes. There will be some stuff coming. And what we're hoping to do is really build a community. If you want to kind of put it a little bit more eloquently.
No,
James.
I think you did great. Yeah,
Okay.
we want like-minded individuals. We want good feedback, and we want it from a multitude of people. So
Yeah.
like dealers. Stop. Why are you looking at me like that?
I just
What is it with you
like
and people looking
theoretically
at you?
speaking, what if you were already a member of the real Illuminati? Like, are you still
gotcha.
permitted to be?
That's why
a
you're looking
part?
at me like that. 'cause
I'm
you're
not
in the
looking at you
Illuminati.
anyway,
Okay.
James.
He's asking
Okay?
for a friend, James.
Asking for a friend.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if
Illuminati.
someone out there
Named
were
TJ.
to listen to this and we're already a member of the
Yeah.
Illuminati, can you have dual membership?
Before you go in the lodge, you have to disclose that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And once again, there is no dress code, but wearing all black is highly encouraged
Yeah,
in this
for sure.
circumstance. Yeah. We'll get you a shirt. We'll get you a shirt and a hat and get you covered on that. But so please be looking out for those invites. It will be dealers. It will be third parties. It will be, industry experts. And we're really excited about it.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for the Fake Podcast. TJ, thank you so much for being our first guest. We hope you enjoy your trophy and we'll display it proudly.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, TJ.
Thanks,
guys.
guys.